Hello everyone, welcome to a new week of streams. Welcome back to the show. This morning it is the post Game Awards podcast and we have a lot to talk about. I'm sure there's some open discussion that will be had. I'm excited to share all of that with all of you. Plus, as a direct result, there will be major schedule changes in the near future. All this and more discussed on today's episode of the Level 1 podcast. Happy holidays! Alrighty, so today is Friday, the 8th of December, 2023. I'm Darkside Phil. I welcome you here to the Level 1 podcast. And today, of course, will be a hefty show. Because today is the Game Awards decompression show. Now, as you know, I've told you guys this every single year. The Game Awards are not official. The Game Awards do not represent anything official whatsoever. Just because a game won or lost or ranked but didn't win at the Game Awards doesn't mean a game is good or bad. They have absolutely no bearing on anything. In fact, the Game Awards are actually voted on majority by journalists, and we all know that games journalists are actually not in line with what most gamers want. Therefore, we actually have absolutely nothing to talk about today. So that is it for the podcast, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Well, except that I say this every year and no one listens to me, and everyone still judges the Game Awards as if it has some true bearing on the goodness of games, and they actually will rank their games based on what the Game Awards said won or lost. So I end up having to talk about it every year regardless. I really wish that people would not give it as much weight or merit, because quite frankly, I feel like a lot of great games get overlooked, and a lot of bad games get overhyped, because the Game Awards are focused mostly on games journalism, which I completely disagree with. We've all been talking about how in the last 5+ years, there's been a big divide between common opinion of video games and what games journalists are saying about them. I mean, let's be honest, most average gamers probably play more games than game journalists these days. So how could they have a valid opinion more qualified than ours, right? Anyway, we're not here to discuss that. We're here to discuss the elephant in the room. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it, the biggest surprise shocker ever just happened at the Game Awards 2023. Are you ready for this? This is what everyone wants me to talk about. This is the burning topic that must be addressed right now before we get to anything else. Game of the Year was not given to Starfield. And that is an absolute atrocity. We all know that Starfield was definitively, without a doubt, without any kind of criticism or commentary possible, it was the indisputable best game of 2023, hands down. How could anyone possibly say something differently? And the fact that it didn't win Game of the Year just proves that it was complete sham. This is just a bunch of people who are trying to push agendas. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? We all know there's an Xbox tax out there. No matter what, if a game's exclusive to Xbox and not on PlayStation, it'll never win at the Game Awards, and that's just a bunch of baloney. Of course, I'm being completely facetious with that. That's complete bullshit, right? What's funny to me, all right, this year, is that, and I said this earlier this year, and I'll reiterate, and I'm basically going to address what people want me to address, but it's not intelligent people who want me to address this, sadly. Basically, this year was a year when there were so many games that when they came out, everyone was just so sure that they were going to be Game of the Year this year. Are you ready to go through the list of games? You know, first we started off with Resident Evil 4 Remake. Oh my god, this game is so good. I can't believe that this game would not be Game of the Year. And then it was Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Wow, it blows away Breath of the Wild. It's so many innovations. It's so many new things. I can't believe this game wouldn't be Game of the Year. And then it was Final Fantasy 16. Oh my God, it's the best Final Fantasy ever. Amazing music, great visuals. It's a great story. I can't believe it. The best game of the year. And then Baldur's Gate 3 came out. Oh my God, it's the best RPG ever made. Fan service out the wazoo. They really put attention to detail. There's no way it can't be Game of the Year. And it just kept continuing all year, right? And the funny part was, every time that this happened, I called it out. And I was like, you guys realize, because go back, you'll hear me saying, you guys realize not every major RPG and or release this year can be Game of the Year. But that's how everyone is acting. There's all these different pocketed fan groups who are all acting like no matter what, their game is going to get Game of the Year. And at that point, when all this was happening, because I specifically remember there was a particular podcast where I addressed it, I said, you have to understand something. There's absolutely no way all these games can win Game of the Year. In fact, I would bet a lot of these wouldn't even get nominated. Now, in that regard, I guess I was wrong, because if you actually look at the games that got Game of the Year nominations, it's pretty much every game that had a major fan base, except for a couple, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay? So, when we got to that point, I basically made a statement, and I was like, listen, you guys got to understand something. At that point, Baldur's Gate 3 was only on PC. There actually hadn't even been an announcement of when it was coming to console yet. And everyone on PC loved it. But I said, you got to understand something. There's a couple factors here. Number one, if it's only a PC game, that's an isolated audience. If it's not mainstream available, there's going to be people who are not going to be able to play the game. That's going to be a hard sell for Game of the Year. You know, take a look at previous years, a game like Divinity 2, right? Which everyone absolutely praised and loved. But a lot of people never even talked about because it was PC only for the longest time until it finally got console ports, right? I mean, that's a sure case of that from the past. Now, in addition to that, at that time, because we're talking around the summertime, there were still big releases on the horizon, like Starfield and Spider-Man 2 and a few others that people were eyeballing, and particularly, it was actually Starfield that we were eyeballing at that time. And we were like, well, if this game absolutely lives up to all of the promises that are made about this game, okay, absolutely this game could be Game of the Year shoo-in, right? It's a make-or-break game for Bethesda. They've had a bunch of bad, disappointing outings right before this, correct? I mean, take a look at, they had Redfall, which was absolutely terrible under Arcane Studios. They had Fallout 76, which was an atrocity at launch, and to this day it has an online player base, but nowhere near what they were originally wanting for the game because it flopped at launch. Fallout 4 had a bunch of major criticisms, and the fact they just keep really re-releasing Skyrim and not putting out anything new, this was the big one that they were hinging everything on, and everyone was kind of, you know, once we saw that presentation, do you remember? Was it around Summer Games Fest, I want to say? They showed some stuff and people were like, all right, we're starting to feel more positive about this game, right? And basically, again, it was uncertain. But here's the thing. Starfield was going to be PC and Xbox, right? At launch. And with that media hype behind it and everything, you're like, wow. The common feeling was that it was kind of a wait and see. At that point, I told you, I thought for me all year, I was thinking Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, or Starfield. At that point, that was my thoughts. Those are going to be the big three that'll likely be contention for Game of the Year. But knowing how journalists lean towards Nintendo, because I never thought that Breath of the Wild would have won, and it did, okay? And knowing how journalists go with height, and if Starfield was good, then he probably would have leaned right towards that. You know what I'm saying? I thought for sure those would have gotten favor, okay? But here's what happened. Let's be honest. Starfield's not very good, right? Starfield is a huge disappointment. I mean, I talked about it in the credits of the playthrough. I gave you my review of it. It's just incredibly underwhelming. Doesn't live up to any of the promises. Actually looks like more like a joke than anything else. Looks like a photocopy of previous games they've made. And how when you make a copy of a copy of a copy, it starts to lose its focus, its sharpness. It looks more blurry and fuzzy and shitty, and that's exactly what Starfield looks like. When you made the same game 10 times, the 10th iteration isn't as good as the first 3. Everyone wants to go back and play the 3 classics. I don't want to play the 10th clone. And that's exactly what Starfield feels like. It lost its unique identity along the way of being an awesome Bethesda RPG and just feels like, oh, paint by numbers. And that's bad. So, because of that, all right, that completely changed the landscape of what possibly would have been considered Game of the Year. Honestly, I was shocked when Alan Wake 2 got nominated for Game of the Year. Personally, I loved Alan Wake 2, and I was very happy to see it get all the recognition it did last night at the Game Awards. That was really nice to see that game that normally a game like that would have been overlooked, but it got tons of recognition. I was like, wow, I'm shocked it got as much as it did. But then when it got nominated, I was like, could it possibly win? I don't think so. I didn't ever really felt like it could. Spider-Man 2, I never thought was going to win, honestly. Like, I would have had my jaw dislocate and jump out of my skin and land on the floor if that won, because journalists just aren't about the superhero games. They're just not, you know? But once, essentially, Starfield sucked and was not even nominated for Game of the Year, yeah, I think that the top 2 games that it was between was Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3. And I said as much. But the funny part is, people out there who are morons like to take one moment in time and act like that moment in time is eternal, that nothing ever changes. If you take my quote from many months ago that said, Baldur's Gate 3 is not going to win Game of the Year because it's PC-centric, and right now with everything else going on, those other games, like I even said, Starfield is a shoo-in for Game of the Year if it's as good as people are saying it's going to be. And what happened? Well, Baldur's Gate 3 released for console. People absolutely loved it on console, and it got more mainstream attention than it had before. Starfield came out and flopped. No one likes it. Only a very hardcore fan base of Bethesda and Xbox players are all over it. Everyone else is like, wow, what a disappointment. Didn't even get nominated for Game of the Year. So basically exactly the qualifying situation that I considered to happen, happened. And now Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of the, like I said, it was either between Baldur's Gate 3 or Zelda. I really was worried. Because you guys know me, I didn't love Zelda that much. I didn't. I thought that Zelda was a good game, but I didn't love it, and I disagreed with Breath of the Wild winning Game of the Year many years ago, and I was like, dude, if Zelda wins, this is going to be bullshit, because there's so many better games this year better than Zelda. Thank God that didn't win, right? But that's absolutely what I said would happen, is now it would be between those 2 games. But no one will say that. No one will look at my opinions from like the last couple of weeks to months and take that as fact. They just want to go back 5-6 months before any of this information was available when I made a prediction back then, and say that was my prediction, it's wrong. Yes, my outdated prediction before Starfield came out, before Baldur's Gate 3 hit console, was wrong. You're right. Once more data was given, I changed my prediction. But why don't you talk about that? Because you're a bunch of fucking morons. And all you want to do is talk about Phil was wrong, Phil was wrong. Nobody cares. You're a bunch of losers. Onward. Okay? So, here's the deal. Today we're going to talk about the Game Awards a lot. Alright? What I'm going to do is briefly go through my schedule, but then we're going to talk about the Game Awards, and what we're going to do is we're going to approach this in an open format where you guys are going to be able to ask me questions. I'm just going to say, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Ask me a question live on stream about the Game Awards and I'll answer it. What, you know, ask me about a certain game or a certain announcement and I'll talk about it. But you say, well, why aren't you going to do an in-depth recap? Because the Game Awards were 3.5 hours long, and that's too fucking long. That's longer than E3. That's longer than any press conference ever. The Game Awards are way too drawn out and sadly get super boring. The last hour of the Game Awards, it's hard to stay awake. It's just not entertaining anymore. It gets really too just stupid. And quite frankly, if you want my overall opinion on the Game Awards, I'll just tell you right now, they were incredibly underwhelming. There were far too few interesting announcements. There were too many indie games no one's going to fucking care about by seeing a little snippet about it at the Game Awards. It was a complete waste of everyone's time. They should have focused on big blockbuster announcements and games winning awards, and that was it. And then the show would have been 90 minutes. But instead, it was 3.5 hours, 2 hours of which were complete bloat, and it makes the show boring. It's basically, now it's the Oscars, and the Oscars suck too. So why emulate a show that everyone collectively agrees is not good? I don't know what Jeff is thinking. Like, the show should be much better than it is. And there were a few really awesome announcements. Like, probably the thing that resonates in my head was OD. The new game from Hideo Kojima looks like it's some kind of a hybrid horror movie game. Interesting, something unique. that stands out to me as something awesome, right? So if they had like 5 big announcements like that and then all the Game Awards, the show would have been great. But instead they have insane amounts of bloat and nonsense crammed in that makes it boring. I didn't like it overall. You know, here we are 3.5 hours at night and we're fast forwarding through shit. Like, I don't fucking care about the next bullshit generic shooter that looks exactly the same as 17 other shooters. Oh, look, another fantasy RTS. Fast forward. It's like, fuck this. They're all the same shit. I don't need to even see half these announcements. They're non-announcements. Yet they probably all paid to be there, which is sad because no one's gonna fucking end up getting any kind of notoriety because they were on those Game Awards like that. Anyway, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me briefly go through my schedule. Then I'm going to field questions about the Game Awards, and you guys will be able to ask me directly questions about it. Okay, and we'll see what you guys want to talk about today. Fair enough, about the Game Awards. I know that's just the hot topic for today. It's what everyone wants to talk about. Okay, so first stream today, RoboCop, which I'm excited to continue. It's a great game. I'm 5 hours in. I'm absolutely loving this game. I'm having no issues or problems with it at all besides the animations of the characters. The story is good. The gameplay is getting better. I'm leveling up RoboCop in like an RPG style. I like this, that the investigations and side content it has little side stories that are interesting. I can't wait to jump back in. I'm very happy that you guys convinced me to play it because this was one that definitely went under my radar and a lot of people's radar because it's made by a studio not a lot of people know about. Very excited for RoboCop today, and hope you'll join me after this podcast to continue the playthrough. Tonight, it's Friday Night Fights, Friday Night Street Fighter 6, and tonight, we're looking to rank my Dalsim up to 5-star Diamond and beyond. Last week, I got very close, so now, it looks like we're gonna do that tonight, as long as I don't hit a wall, which could happen. I could end up having an army of camis back-to-back, or, you know, we'll see. It's very tough with, Dalsim, but we'll see what happens tonight on the late stream. Hopefully it goes well. Tomorrow, daytime stream will be more Modern Warfare 3, Warzone 3.0. I played this the other day on premiere day. It was pretty good. What I mean by that, it was pretty much what you would expect from, how can I say, a Battle Royale style game. Pretty on par with Warzone 2. Doesn't really feel that much different, although they have a few kind of quality of life improvements and innovations and some different weapons. I did pretty good for my premiere day. I'm excited to play some more tomorrow. And tomorrow night is Like a Dragon Gaiden. The chill stream continuing on. This time around, it looks like we'll actually be making story progress after doing like 8 hours of side content. We'll finally try to advance the plot a bit. Sunday is my React day, meaning it's going to be DSP versus the internet on my React channel, which is youtube.com/@DSPReacts. So I hope you'll join me over there for that. And then there's no night stream on Sunday. I know. People are going to be like, what? 2 weeks in a row? Yeah, last week's didn't go so well. Because last week when I went to film the private React videos for patrons, one of them completely corrupted. It was an hour of content that I lost. So this week, I'm going to film it again. And in addition to that, I actually have another one to do now. So I have 2 private React videos to do. So I have to take the night off from streaming. But the good news is I'm going to take a little bit of that extra time to possibly film 1 to 2 holiday reviews for DSP React. I'm going to try to queue them up. So I actually have a couple Christmas special reviews lined up so that I can release them over the course of the month. So we'll see if I'll at least get 1 done, maybe 2, we'll see. But that'll be good to get a little bit of extra work done, okay? So then when we come back on Monday, and here's the big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. As a direct result of your request, as a direct result of the Game Awards, and as the direct result of the generosity of viewers, because I received a donation on Monday on the daytime stream, starting right then at 12:45 p.m. Pacific time, for the first time ever, right here, live on DSP Gaming, because you want it for all the months that you've asked for it and told me that I was wrong for skipping it. On Monday, we're starting Baldur's Gate 3. And let me tell you something. If this isn't the best RPG I've ever fucking played in my life, if it's overhyped, if it feels underwhelming, if it's a slow-paced piece of crap, I'm going to be pretty pissed off because you guys keep telling me it's the best RPG ever, and I'm so wrong for skipping it. If this game isn't great, I'm going to call you out. So you better be ready. But don't worry, I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to unfairly judge this game. I'm not. I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to be calm, and I'm going to judge it for itself fairly as we play it. But my God, you guys have ridiculously overhyped this game. And every time that I've asked the question, how is this game the best RPG, no one can answer. Well, it's got a great story. So do other RPGs. Oh, well, it's good combat. Other RPGs have great combat. Oh, the atmosphere. Yeah. Oh, well, the devs listen to the fans. Other devs have listened to fans. Can you definitively explain to me what exactly it is in this game that makes it stands out? The bear sex scene. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. You're telling me the game is good because it has a bear sex scene. What are you, 5 years old? So, that's what I mean. Like, when everyone says it's the best, but no one can actually explain why. That makes me wonder about it. Okay? So, we're going to find out. Now, by the way, I want to remind you all of the reasons why I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3 this year. You ready? First of all, it was PC only. So, I couldn't play it at launch because it was PC only. By the time it came out on PlayStation, I was already in the midst of other fall playthroughs that were popular, and I didn't really have time to play a lengthy RPG at that time. Also, because of the way this game has been described, and because of the way that people are telling me that it is, alright, basically, here's the deal, alright? I feel like it's not a game that fits the format of my streams. If people are saying that a minimum playthrough of this game is 60 to 80 hours long, if not longer, how on the fuck do you think that fits into my streams? I'm a variety streamer. I don't just play one game endlessly. Nor do I think that if I played Baldur's Gate 3 endlessly, that it would work. I think people would get bored. I would get bored. The whole point is to play a variety, and that way everything always feels fresh, right? But I also got to play games that keep moving. That way you don't feel like when you play a game 3 times a week, you've barely made a snail's pace of progress. You want to feel like you had something significant happen, right? If I play RoboCop for 3 hours today, hopefully we get some story developments, we get some side missions, some fun stuff happens. Not, oh, I moved one bookcase, right, in 3 hours. Well, that could be Baldur's Gate 3 because from what I'm being explained about the game, it is a slow-paced game with tons of narrative, which is great, except people want progress. They don't want to sit here for hours on end and nothing happens, right? Now, again, I'm not trying to set the game up for failure. I'm a realist, all right? I'm telling you, I already figured from everything you guys have told me about this game, I don't think it would work for my streams. But I'm listening to your feedback. You want it. It won Game of the Year, all right? And basically, it's been donated now. So every factor has lined up. I have no excuse to not play it. I'm going to play it, all right? In fact, I actually think at this point, there's been so much demand. There's been so much stuff that people have asked for. I'll give it a shot, all right? I'm a fair guy. When so many people yell at me about it, right? I'll do it. So we're starting Monday, and I'm going to approach it with an open mind like any other game. Literally, I will not be a dick about it. I'm not going to be, a negative asshole to the game. I'm going to approach it like an open RPG. And I think people say character creation is pretty cool. We'll jump in. We'll see how the plots are. By the way, and here's the really cool part about it. I know nothing about this game. I've never played a Baldur's Gate game before. So I don't know the plot, okay, at all. I've gotten 0 spoilers about it because I don't understand. I never played one. I don't know. How could you spoil me? You know what I'm saying? So this is 100% cold turkey for me to jump into this game. All right? So let's find out how it's going to go. Now, yes, I will be very honest with you up front. If I play this game within 2 to 3 streams, everything is falling off. People aren't showing up. People are disengaging, not even talking about the game. They're just talking about other shit. They're saying it's boring in the chat. Engagement's dead. Support is dead. No one cares about the game. No, I'm not going to fucking play this game for 100 hours. No. Absolutely not. The thing is, if it's good, if I'm hooked on it, and I really like it, and you guys are liking it, and we're all engaged, and we're having a good time, and it ends up being a great stream, I am happy to play this. But I want that atmosphere. I don't want, oh, everyone wanted it, but it was a trick because it's a fucking game that everyone knows won't work for streams. Then I'm not playing it. Fuck off. It's that simple because I already feel like it won't work for my format. I've told you that already. I've predicted that. But maybe, you know what? I would like to be proven wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. Here's the thing. I love RPGs. Did you notice? I grew up playing RPGs. It's one of my favorite genres of game. The problem is RPGs are very hard to retain attention. They just are. They're hard to retain an audience, okay? And by the way, I already saw, are you ready for this? I already saw people in chat already setting the stage for failure. You ready? oh, well, if he plays the game now and it doesn't do well, you can't blame the game because it's 4 months later. Bullshit. It's an RPG. I can play whenever the fuck I want. I didn't play every Elder Scrolls game the day it came out. Oblivion, how many years late did I play that? What the fuck are you talking about? No, if it's such a good RPG, it should be good whenever I play it. No excuses that because it's 4 months later, oh, now people won't watch it. Fuck you. Stop trying to already make excuses for why the game will not work on my streams because you're afraid it's not going to, and then you're going to look like an asshole. So no, I'm not taking those excuses. Those excuses are invalid. If the game is good, it's good forever. Let's see if it's good starting on Monday. It's that simple. No more bullshit. I've had enough of the bullshit. I really have. All right. So I am excited. I really am excited to start this on Monday. And you know what? I will say this. I'm always someone who is willing to admit when I'm actually wrong. If yesterday I had said there's no chance in hell Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win Game of the Year and then it won, I would say I was completely wrong. No, I said that ages ago before all the qualifying things happened to make it look like it was going to win. And I was asked recently, would it win? And I said, yeah, it's either Baldur's Gate or Zelda. Those are the 2 games that are going to win Game of the Year, one or the other, right? So, no, you don't get to say no gotcha moments on me. I see you said it wasn't going to win. Yeah, that was like 6-7 months ago. Shut up. You're an idiot. Okay? In this case, I would be willing to say, hey, if it works for my streams, if it's a great game, I will be happy. Do you understand? I will actually be happy to be proven wrong. I would be. I would love to have a great game in my streams. Now, I want you to understand something. We are opening a big can of worms with this, and here's why we're opening a big can of worms. In January, there's 2 big RPGs. Persona 3 Remake and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, both of which are ginormous, both of which are highly anticipated, both of which everyone wants to see. How the fuck do I keep playing Baldur's Gate 3 with those games? I can't. That's the answer. I can't. There's no way that I can juggle 17 RPGs at once. You understand that, right? So I don't know what to say about that. Again, this game is so lengthy with my variety schedule. This is also kind of setting myself up for disaster. I don't see how I could be playing that many games at once, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. If we play it and it's great, right? And now all of a sudden, it's like now we have to make a decision. Well, crap, what games am I skipping? What games am I playing? And I think this is going to come more into play because on the Christmas Marathon, December 23rd, which is coming up, by the way, it's about 2 weeks from tomorrow, right? That's when we're going to go through the game schedule for 2024. We're going to look week by week what games are coming out, and we're going to determine which ones are interesting that you want to see me play. And once we figure this out, you know, we're going to have to make tough decisions. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to have to drink. I'm going to have to start drinking eggnog and whiskey to make these tough decisions about the schedule because I love these games. It's going to be sad to say I just can't play them all because, you know, I'm one man. You know, what are we going to do? So it's going to be a rough one, you know. We'll have to talk about this and figure this out together, all right? No, I actually loved Persona 3 until the final dungeon. The final dungeon's the only part of Persona 3 that's complete bullshit. The game is incredibly good up to that point, and then the ending is terrible. It's like, why the fuck did they make it like that? It's just annoying as shit. Okay. All right, so that's what we're doing. Starting Monday, it's Baldur's Gate 3 premiering. Monday night will be more Street Fighter. Tuesday will be more RoboCop. Tuesday night will be Like a Dragon Gaiden, and then Wednesday's open. Wednesday we could do more Baldur's Gate. We could do Battle Royale in Modern Warfare. You know, we could do Street Fighter, whatever you guys want. I'm assuming if the Monday stream goes well with Baldur's Gate, you're going to want to see more, so we'll probably do it again on Wednesday. And so that's that. Just to make this very clear, that's the schedule. RoboCop, Baldur's Gate, some Battle Royale and or multiplayer of Modern Warfare 3 mixed in, Street Fighter 6, and Like a Dragon Gaiden. That's it. That's the year. Like, there's no time for other games now. You get that? That will be what we're doing for the rest of the month. You know what I'm saying? We got a holiday event coming up for the Christmas weekend. That's going to be fun and special, but that's it. Please don't start asking for other random games out of nowhere now. There's no time. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be incredibly time-consuming because of the kind of game it is, so that's what it's going to have to be. All right? So I'm willing to bite the bullet on this one. I'm giving it a shot because it's like all circumstances have come together, right? So the game is on every console. The game has been reviewed well everywhere. The game just won Game of the Year. You guys keep asking for it, and someone donated it. If I didn't play this game at this point, I would be a complete asshole, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm going to love it, nor am I obligated to love it and keep playing it. So let's see how it goes starting on Monday, okay? Is that fair enough? I hope so. I hope that's fair. I hope you guys, you know, I'm listening to you. Remember, old Phil, this never would have happened. Old Phil would have told you guys, I'm not playing this game, fuck this game. You know what I mean? But I've been listening. I'm like, all right, if everyone, literally everything is pointing towards playing this goddamn game, then I'm gonna play it. Okay? So let's see. Let's see how it goes starting on Monday. So mark your calendars, set your clocks, get out your smartphones, put on your pop-ups, get your little fucking smart watches, program it into there, write it on your forehead backwards so when you look in the mirror it reflects. It says Monday, Baldur's Gate on DSPGaming. Be here. Because the way you guys hype this goddamn game, there better be 1,000 viewers on that stream. Seriously. As much as you guys asked for this game, this better be like the hottest stream of the year, right? Seriously, I mean it too. Everyone better fucking be here. Everyone. And your mother. Tell your mother to be on watching that stream. Tell your family to be on. Tell your dog to buy an iPad and be on that fucking stream. You work Mondays? Bud Walton says he works Mondays. You're taking Monday off. For God's sakes, you're taking that fucking day off and you're going to be here on this stream. All of a sudden, you've come down with the crippling illness. You can't make it. You got to be here. You understand me? Oh, my God. Now, guys, again, don't take it so seriously. I'm a joker. You know I'm messing around with you. Please tell me you know I'm messing around with you. Because you know the idiots will quote this out of context. And there's nothing I can do about that. They'll do whatever they want. But I'm not going to change my personality because of those idiots. I'm joking. This is all a joke. It's meant to be silly. I hope you understand. But I really appreciate that you guys gave me the feedback you gave me this year. I do. Because without your feedback, I wouldn't know what to do. And I'm willing to give it a shot. I am. Now is the time. If we're going to do it, now would be the time. We finally finished all the major releases of the year, right? They're all wrapped up. Now it's the end of the year. We have some time between now and basically like maybe the second week of January to play stuff like this. So now's the perfect time to give it a shot. Now, the problem is if the game's so long, there's no way we're going to finish it, right? But at least we'll get a chunk into it. And then we can go back to it later. Whatever we want to do, we can make that judgment later. But I'm happy that you guys were understanding this year to understand I couldn't just drop everything that was going on for Baldur's Gate 3 because they decided to drop a console port of it in like the mid-September. It was like, what am I supposed to do, right? So I'm happy. Thank you for understanding, and now we're going to give it a shot. All right, now, what I'd like to do, because we're going to do shout-outs, but we got to remember, I do shout-outs at the end of the stream. I'd like to open up the stream, all right, to questions about the Game Awards. You guys are just going to be able to ask me questions about whatever you want, and I'll answer them, all right? But before we get there, a couple quick reminders. Number one, please nominate games for the Christmas event, which is December 23rd. Baldur's Gate 3 is already being played. So everyone who nominated Baldur's Gate 3, thanks, but it's already being played. Now we need other games for the Christmas event. So please nominate other video games to be played for the Christmas Marathon, which is Saturday, December 23rd. You can do that by typing !Christmas into the chat right now, or by going to the members-only thread that's available on the main channel page of this channel. If you are a channel member, please post up your nominations. I need more of those. Basically, it's going to go for like another week and a half, and then I'm going to do a poll to determine the winners that'll be played, okay? So that's number one. Number two, please keep nominating your favorite playthroughs of the year in the Best of 2023 thread. You can access that by typing !Best of 2023, okay? And then at the end of the year, I'm going to tally up the most nominated games, and that's going to be a part of my year-end series, all right? Last thing I'll say, please support the streams. As you can see, sadly, we had a dip in members. 40 members lost during my one day off. We were at 620. And then a big dip. It sucks because we had great momentum. We're heading, you know, higher and higher. Please consider becoming a member or gifting a membership today. And as you know, every stream I try to hit the tier 1 tips goal. If we can exceed that today, great. But thank you in advance for any contributions on the stream. All right, enough with the baloney. I'm fielding questions right now about the Game Awards, starting with Meatball Man. Thoughts on Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty being in so many categories? He scrolled off the screen. So many categories, despite it being a DLC. You know, listen. I think the reason that it got nominated in so many categories is because the original game was a disappointment. So this was that game time to shine, right? Let's be honest. Like, people finally got to say, hey, it's getting the recognition that it finally deserves because they fixed it. If the original game had been great, it probably would have had just as many, if not more, nominations the year it came out years ago, but it was a flop. It was a disappointment. It was unfinished, right? I think that's why that happened. Do I agree with the DLC getting that many nominations? No. I didn't play it. I don't care about it. So. Okay. Let's see here. Your thoughts on Marvel's Blade game. Did you see the Blade movies? I've seen the Blade movies. I did not see gameplay of the game. I mean, a Blade game could be good. I don't know. It's made by Arcane. Now I don't know how I feel about it. Their last few outings have sucked ass. Usually I would like Arcane. Like, the Dishonored games are good. And then they had, like, 2 shitty games. So I don't know how to feel about it. I hope it's good, though. Am I interested in Visions of Mana? That one surprised me. I did not expect them to actually make a direct inline sequel to Secret of Mana. Never. I mean, they remade the game, what? And then they had a spin-off game? I wasn't expecting them to continue the series. I guess what happened is the remake of Secret of Mana and then the spin-off game both did really well. So they decided to make a whole new sequel. Like, okay. It looks pretty good. It actually looks good to me because, you know, I like the original Secret of Mana. I played it in the 90s. I rented it several times. I really like the game. So, yeah, I'm actually down for that. I'm down for the continuation of any classic Square franchises from the 90s, and that's one, so yeah, that's good for me. Thoughts on Spider-Man 2 winning 0 awards? Not shocked. It's journalists who vote. Journalists are not into those games. They're not. I mean, now here's the thing. Did Spider-Man 2 really do anything amazing? Well, probably the best open world realism, meaning that New York City representation is the best we've ever seen in any video game. And the free-flowing without any loading to go through the city at any time was amazing, right? Outside of that, the story was good. The graphics were good. The gameplay was good. But did anything like, oh my god, knock my socks off, never seen anything this good before? Because some people are still arguing that the Arkham franchise is better. I would say that Spider-Man 2 is the best the best comic book video game we've ever had. I will stand by that statement. I think it is. But I think for the time, Arkham was amazing. So... But yeah, it's journalists. Journalists don't vote for fucking, you know, they'll nominate it, but they ain't gonna vote for it for Game of the Year. They're not gonna award it. They just want to get it to get recognition. You know what I mean? Thoughts on Street Fighter 6 winning Game of the Year, or excuse me, Street Fighter 6 winning Fighting Game of the Year? Why wouldn't it? It was a shoe-in to begin with. It has, in my opinion, the best graphics of any fighting game this year. Some people disagree. I think it does. Has the best online connectivity of any fighting game this year. It actually completely fixed all the issues of Street Fighter V. It really did. It made the game more viable for competitive communities, for the casual community. It has more content. I mean, look at all the content in that game, offline content. Even if you're not going online, there's insane amounts. Then you could go and play with your avatar online and dick around. The game is made for everyone. They basically completely fixed all their mistakes from the last gen. That's great. Okay? I played some of the other fighting games, like Mortal Kombat 1. Disappointment. Competitively a trash game. Bad connections online. What are you going to do? How can you even say that that was going to be, you know, the winner? The funny part was, Ed Boon, you know, the guy primarily in charge of Mortal Kombat, was a presenter at the awards. So he had to sit in that audience and basically grind his teeth to see Street Fighter 6 win and his game lose, even though he probably thought he was going to win because he's buddy-buddy with a bunch of games journalists. He is. He's really buddy-buddy. And he probably thought, oh, maybe if I get really friendly this year, my game will win. Ha ha ha. Nope. Oh, well. Let's continue. Thoughts on the new Dragon Ball Z game? I really don't have thoughts on Dragon Ball Z games anymore. They don't appeal to me. It's the same shit over and over, honestly. This one's made by the makers of Jump Force, right? It's the same shit again for the millionth time. I don't watch Dragon Ball. I haven't seen Dragon Ball Super. I don't really care, quite frankly. How do I feel about the God of War DLC dropping in a few days? From what I saw, what I made of it, it's not an actual story continuation. What they've done is they basically just made a bunch of combat challenges, right? Which is why it's free. If this had a major story element to it, if it was actually a major chunky DLC that continued the plot, then it would be actually sold, right? But it looks like what all they did was they added a bunch of combat challenges in this Valhalla atmosphere, and that's what it is. So for me, do we really want to see me play that game again just to do a bunch of combat? You know how boring and repetitive and grindy that would be? Probably not very fun. For people who love the game and its combat, you probably really would enjoy that. So go for it, and it's free. You can't complain about something that's free. But for me, it doesn't look that good. It's just a combat challenge mode from what I saw. So, thoughts on the quick Sega games being remade? That looked amazing to me. My wife and I both were like, no way. She loves Crazy Taxi. And she's like, Crazy Taxi's coming back? And I'm like, that's Golden Axe, only in 3D. Holy shit, that's a new Shinobi game? Oh, I couldn't believe it, and she couldn't believe it. We were very stoked to see these new Sega games being made. So, hey, so it's like all of a sudden Sega remembered, oh, wait a minute, we actually make games. Did you know that? Oh, let's fucking make some. Well, it's about fucking time. What were you doing all these years? Right? Good. Make some fucking video games. Thoughts on Jurassic Park Survival, which takes place 2 days after the first movie. That looked great to me. It literally looked really good because it's the same exact location as the original Jurassic Park movie. So you're going to have tons of nostalgia if you love that movie, which I do. I've seen that movie dozens of times. It's a great movie. It's going to be really cool to recognize the dinosaurs and the things from that movie. It looks great. And if it's truly a first-person survival game with, like, it's a story and everything, I think it's going to be outstanding. Joel Law says, to be fair, it was a killer game year. The competition was brutal. Spider-Man 2 could have had a bigger chance if games like Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 hadn't come out this year. That is correct. Very good. Thoughts of the Kojima segment? Like I already said earlier, I think that was one of the biggest highlights of the night, to know that Kojima is not just making Death Stranding 2, because I thought that's what we all thought it was going to be, and it wasn't at all. It was a whole new game. We don't know what the fuck it's going to be besides horror. The fact that he's collaborating with Jordan Peele, a real-life director of horror movies that are popular. The fact that Jordan Peele is an actual real fan of video games who plays them and not just saying that, and knowing that he's going to collaborate with Kojima, and Kojima saying, no, we're actually teaming up with other big people as well. We're going to have this big, insane artistic collaboration to make the most unique game ever. Sounds good to me. I like uniqueness. Alan Wake 2 this year had some of the biggest, most unique parts of any video game, and I will remember those. I'll remember flashing between two different scenes with a lamp that makes the entire situation change, and changing scenes to be horror and things. I will remember the giant dance number with a real band playing and live action people. I'll remember all of that because it's unique. That's what we need, more uniqueness, and not people just following the fucking outline of this is what the game's supposed to be, and people will buy it if we just do these couple things that we check off the list. No, we need more unique experiences. We do. Now, the challenge here is to make the unique experiences fun. And the problem is, with Death Stranding, the story was amazing, the graphics were outstanding, and the gameplay was terrible. What Kojima needs to do is find that balance, where it's fun to play, but it's also fun to experience. Like, everything has to be fun. He didn't do that with Death Stranding. He has to nail that with OD. I think he's getting better at it, so hopefully this will be amazing. We'll find out. But that was a really good announcement for me. Will I play the finals? Fuck no. Don't see a reason to. Not my style of game. Don't really care about it. The finals is a game for these streamers who all they do is play first-person shooter games. They just need another one to put in variety, so it's not just Call of Duty all the time. You know, I don't really give a shit about it. If you guys wanted to see me play it as a one-off stream or something to try it, I would. If it's free, I'm not buying it. Hell no. What do I think about the Ronin game? It looked good with Rise of the Ronin, right? Looks good from Team Ninja, right? And I think it's only... Was it Team Ninja? It looked really good to me. Because it didn't look like Dark Souls, because they had like special abilities and things. So it definitely wasn't Dark Souls, but it was kind of... I don't know. It's hard to read because there were no energy bars or anything, so you can't see how tough the game really was. But PlayStation exclusive, right? And it comes out next year, March. It looked pretty good to me. I might be getting it confused with another game, but it looked pretty good to me in my opinion. Did I enjoy the epicness of Flute Guy using a dozen instruments during the music section? Yes and no. Like, I appreciate the guy's talent, and I absolutely love real-life musicians. I hate when they try so hard to make memes out of it. So because the guy is talented and uses different, you know, instruments, let's just keep showing him. Let's have him ham it up and act up. It's like, can we just have music? Do I have to have, like, I understand, but do we have to have, like, 100 characters playing the music? Like, do we need to have fucking Big Bird playing the trombone and, you know, fucking... I don't know, Johnny Depp playing a guitar, and then the fucking flute guy going crazy? You know, do we need a million characters, or can we just have some music? Sometimes I just want some music, right? Pretty ridiculous. How much did I lol when Christopher Judge presented a Modern Warfare 3 campaign burn? I thought it was funny. I laughed. Donna Allowan's dancing and singing. It was good. Obviously, he lip-synced because he's not the singer. The singer was actually there really singing the lines while he was just lip-syncing and dancing. But it was cool to see it. You already saw it in the game, and then you get to see it actually performed on stage, proving that these guys have massive talent and could actually do this as like a live stage show, too, if they needed to, which is really cool. Thoughts on Lego Fortnite? I have none. I mean, it's a kid's game. Good for them. If you ever wanted to prove that Fortnite was a game made for kids, Lego Fortnite. That's all you got to say. From now on, whenever someone says, man, you know, that Fortnite game, you know, what are you talking about? That every streamer tried to cater to kids, and the whole game is towards kids and microtransactions. Well, where's your evidence? Lego Fortnite. Oh, shit. All right. Well, you win. That's all you got to say. You're done. You walk away. You put your hat out. Can't argue anymore. Fuck. All right. Done. I don't know if I'll try any new Monster Hunter. As you know, I was 100% gung-ho to do Monster Hunter World. I played the demo. People hated it. Absolutely hated it. Found it insanely boring. I had a whole stream scheduled, 3+ hours of this Monster Hunter World demo, co-op, with other people. And we're playing it, and within an hour and a half, everyone complained this game is the worst game ever. Stop playing it, play something else. They actually wanted me to stop the demo stream to play other games. So, I've tried it. It did not work. I mean, I'm not again. If there's another demo for the new Monster Hunter game, and we try it again, we'll see. We're going to give it a shot, but there's no way I'm jumping in head first into that game and buying it and everything when people hated the last one. So, I just gave my thoughts on Rise of the Ronin. I guess you missed them. Does that mean the Star Wars games I played this year is for kids because I had a Lego game? Huh? What does that even mean? I don't even understand what that means. Lego games are primarily designed for children. That is true. Now, there could be some adult appeal, but they are primarily designed for children. Every once in a while, I've played one. Why? Variety. It's good to have that kind of variety on my streams. It breaks stuff up. Not every game is for a mature audience, right? But, yeah, when you outright get a game like Fortnite, and I say, well, it's so, we're making kitty Fortnite, Lego Fortnite. Yeah, because it's for kids. I get it. That's fine. It's okay to admit it. What's hilarious is this group of adults who play this game so much, they won't admit it's for kids. They just, you know, it's fine. You can still enjoy things as an adult that are intended for children. You understand that, right? Happens all the time. People still like Charlie Brown. People still like fucking SpongeBob. Do you think that was written for you? It's written for kids. But it's okay to enjoy it. It's fine. The Muppets. Hell, I love the Muppets. But it's for kids. But just admit it. It's time to stop fucking trying to make excuses. Fortnite has always been a children's game. Since the moment they added everything cartoony, since the streamers dyed their fucking hair neon and acted like cartoons, it's been for children. Why won't you just admit that? Thoughts on Atlus's new IP? Do you mean the one that starts with M, I think? It looks great. I forgot the name of it. It looks great. It's basically all the stuff you liked about Persona thrown into a medieval atmosphere with fantasy. I love it. Looks great to me. I'm excited for more information about it. I want to play it. It looks great to me. Yeah, I told you. I'm a huge fan of RPGs. To see that makes me happy. That makes me very excited. The pre-show sucked. The pre-show was 30 minutes of boredom, nothing interesting, insanely bad lines written by the presenter. Every time she delivered a cringy line, you had to feel bad, like, what the fuck happened here? Who wrote this crap? And what they did is they crammed a bunch of awards in 30 minutes, and none of the awards really got the recognition they deserved, which is really sad, because they absolutely should be getting attention for some of these awards, like the Accessibility Award, which, by the way, Forza Motorsport won, which is Brandon Cole. Remember Super Blind Man, who used to be a fan of mine and watch all my stuff, and he hasn't been around for a while because he's so busy now with work. He gets so much accessibility work, which is outstanding. He won. He even got a name call-out on the show, which was amazing to see someone who used to be a major part of my streams now actually getting recognition on the show. I'm so proud of him, and I want to give him a shout out and let him know how much publicly I'm proud of him for the work he's doing. Really awesome. Okay. But the new Persona 3 trailer they showed, am I interested in playing it because it looks like Persona 5? Yes, but I can't play it. There's no time. How do you expect me to start Baldur's Gate 3 this month? Play that. Play Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is what I mean. These are the decisions we have to make. And in this case, sadly, games have to be cut. What game's going to be cut? The game I already played. Even if it's a remake that looks and plays like Persona 5, I can't play it. Plus, it's Atlas, and Atlas is always a liability. Atlas games tend to have copyright issues on YouTube, so it's the easy one to cut. Sorry to say. I have no idea what the hell Light No Fire is. Never heard of it. Were there any games I expected to be announced that weren't? I mean, the one thing everyone was expecting was the Elden Ring DLC, or at least some update on something from Software, and they were not even there in any capacity. You know, like, whoa, what the hell? Like, really? So, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they just have nothing to say, or there was a falling out between them and Jeff Keighley, because, remember, Summer Game Fest is where they blew up all their information about Elden Ring a couple of years ago. That's where they got, that E3 got snubbed, Jeff got the scoop. So it was shocking that they weren't there at all. Everyone thought they were going to be there. Den of Wolves, I don't know what that is either. Don't know what Den of Wolves is. Already talked about Spider-Man 2 not winning any awards. Did I enjoy the Final Fantasy VII stuff? Yes, you want to know why? Did you notice when they were showing gameplay, it looks completely different from Final Fantasy VII now. The first game, alright, you didn't know that this was a new story. You thought it was just Final Fantasy VII Remake. You thought it was Final Fantasy VII. And it was until the end. And then the story changed and veered in a different multiverse direction. Now we know the plot line's been changed, and it looks like tons of stuff is going to be different in this one, right? There was tons of shit in there. I was like, what's that? What the hell is that? None of that's from original Final Fantasy VII. So I'm excited because essentially we're getting a new Final Fantasy game. We're getting a brand new one. And by the way, it's going to be good, unlike Final Fantasy 16. So I'm pumped. Makes me excited. Okay, I'm waiting for more questions because some of these were scrolled off the screen and were weird. Oh, I don't know. Joel Law says, I was surprised to see the best performance go to Asterion and Baldur's Gate 3. Did you prefer another nominee? I don't know because I didn't see Baldur's Gate 3. You can't make a judgment on something like that until you know all the nominees. I haven't played it, so I can't say anything. You know. Of the nominees there that I knew, you know, probably the guy who was the lead actor of Star Wars did an insanely good job. I think he's the glue that holds that game together, right? I think he's really good in that role. So, maybe him. I don't know. I don't know what his name is. Thoughts on the costume from Fallout? You mean the real life power armor? It looked neat. Den of Wolves is a co-op heist FPS for the creator of Payday the Heist. Oh, we probably fast forwarded through it. We probably just went zoop like that. Because any game, I mean, there's so many games presented, they look exactly like every other fucking game. They're not doing anything original. Oh, look, another fantasy RTS. Oh, look, another fantasy game that looks like all the others we played. Oh, look, another FPS, and they're all team-based, and they're all bullshit. They're all the same game. There's so few games today that try to do something original, and that's the problem. When you say, oh, it goes into this bucket, toss it in and ignore it. Look, goes into this bucket, toss it over your shoulder and ignore it. Enough of the same game, same genre bullshit. We need original games, and those things don't interest me at all. They make me fucking fall asleep. Yeah, I know Persona 3 Reloaded is day one Game Pass. What's your point? I still can't play it. Number one, Atlas. I'll get copyright issues. Number two, I'm going to be playing other new games. It's not a new game. It's a remake of a game I've already played. So. Wukong next August. That I was happy to finally get an actual release date for the Wukong game. This is the game based on Journey to the West that looks like it's an action game, a hybrid of maybe like Dark Souls, but also like, you know, Neo or a game like that. And finally to have a release date. It's like, dude, we've been hearing about this game for how many years? Like 5 years? So finally to have that information was very exciting to me. I'm like, yes, now we have something for the summer that's going to be great, right? Perhaps Wukong will be the next Lies of P. That would be amazing. Thoughts on the Switch missing out on all the cool games coming out? Well, yeah, they need to come out with a console that can handle games. I mean, the first party games, but they didn't have anything first party to announce, right? So I guess this next year will be a dead year for the Switch, and then probably like 2025 they'll come out with a new console, and then all of a sudden it'll be an insanely prominent year for Nintendo again. This always happens with Nintendo's life cycle. At first they're hot, then mid-cycle they get some stuff, they lose some stuff, and then end of the cycle they have nothing, and then the new console comes out and they get a big boost again. So, am I hopeful that the new Fallout show will be good? Yes. Will it be good? I have no idea, but I'm hopeful it will be good. I would love to have it be good. And I'm going to be watching it along with all of you on Amazon Video, and I'll be reviewing the episodes. Yes, I will be a part of that fun next year for sure. Thoughts on celebrities that were there? Well, here's the thing, okay? Basically, when you look at who they had, you could tell the difference between the people who were there because they're actually a fan of video games and the people that were there because they take a paycheck or they want to be prominent and be known as hip or whatever. You know, I mean, a lot of people, sadly, gave Anthony Mackie a lot of shit. He went out there and he tried to have like a Keanu moment and it didn't work at all. He was insanely cringy trying to react to people in the audience, but no one could hear the people in the audience on the mic. So no one knew who was saying what or anything, nor did they know what the hell he was talking about. He basically just kept screaming at the audience like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. No one knew what he was saying. Like, what? Like, what is going on? It was very, very embarrassing for him, I feel. The other weird part about it is that I guess this Twisted Metal show did so well on Paramount Plus, but no one really talks about it. So it's so odd because it came out, oh, it's good, but who talked about it? It's like, what is the criteria for a show to be popular that they're getting another season when no one even talked about the first season? I don't know. It's really fucking odd. But, you know, again, Matthew McConaughey comes out. Oh, I'm going to be part of this space game. That's great. And then they showed a trailer and he's not in it. It was like, so you paid the actor to be there to promote your game, but you didn't even show the part of the game he's in? Like, so what was the point of that? Right? Did you really think that Matthew McConaughey ever fucking played these games? Really? Do you believe that? I don't. I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. It's just not believable to me, you know? So that's the weird thing. They always try to get that weird mix. They do. They try to get that very odd mix. And it's weird because you always got to be skeptical. What is this person or celebrity here for? Are they here for a paycheck? Or are they here because they actually love a project? You know? I don't know. It's funny because certain people there, like, what was his name? Simon Liu was there. And he's talking about RTS games. And he felt, even though I'm not a big fan of modern RTS, I'm a fan of classic RTS, like StarCraft. I played the crap out of that game. And he actually mentioned it during the show. And then he starts talking about RTS games. I'm like, I think this guy's real. I think this guy's very passionate about that genre, and maybe that's why he's interested in being a part of it. Cool. Jordan Peele, 100% believe him when he's talking about video games and stuff. And doesn't he seem like a down-to-earth guy who he has humble beginnings? He probably played the shit out of video games when he was younger, and now he wants to be a part of a major one. That's amazing, right? But do I believe that these major actors coming out have anything to do with it? No. You heard Anthony Mackie, oh, my kid's gonna love me for this. Your kid. So you're here because your kid likes video games, not because you don't even know what the fuck they are. Oh, okay. Sounds good. Okay. Did Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 look good? Yeah. Hellblade 1 is good. And so Hellblade 2, looks good. What is taking so long for this game to be made? And when is it coming out? So many games were like 2024 or 2025 with no date. It's like, I understand they don't want to announce a date and then have to be pressured to finish it by then, but it's so hard to get hyped for games when you don't know when they're coming out, right? It really is. It's very hard to get hyped for any of these games. And when the entire show, there was like 2 dates given for anything. I was like, well, great. Excuse me. Thoughts on Alan Wake 2's free story DLC? I know it's coming, but I didn't hear all the concrete stuff about it. If you guys know about the concrete stuff about it, let me know. I want to play it. I would want to play the DLC, but the question is, when is it? I don't know. I already gave my opinion. Boy, Double M, you're late. I already gave my opinions on the Valhalla DLC, that it looks like it's just a combat challenge, and I don't really care about that, nor do I think the audience would care about that. Oh, that's right. They said that. Oh, wait a minute. No. See, there is no DLC. There is no story DLC for Alan Wake. There's a New Game Plus mode coming out on Monday. If you want to replay the game, and it adds a couple new story elements to it, but that's it. It's the same game a second time. So, I'm not playing the whole game again. No. That's not a story DLC. There's a difference between a new story DLC, several hours of new content, versus a New Game Plus mode that may add a couple new cutscenes, but is the same game a second time. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Ben says, thoughts on the new Hello Games trailer for the new project? Yeah, it looks boring. Looks pretty boring. Explore planets with your friends. No. No thanks. Okay. For Helgen says, I love that licensed games like RoboCop, Avatar, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and more seem to become worth playing again. Yeah, seems like a good thing, because remember, for the longest time, they were just shameless cash-ins. I think what happens is, after a long period of time for them sucking, people stop playing them, they go away, but now they come back in a less AAA capacity, and now they're better. Right? Yeah, Joel Loft says the actual Alan Wake 2 story expansions are coming out sometime next year. No concrete details on that yet. That's what I thought. You gotta love that. You gotta love that on the show they say, so New Game Plus launches on Monday and there'll be a couple new story elements. And somehow that story translates into, there's new story-based DLC for Alan Wake on Monday. No, there's not. Like, well, where did you get that information from? That's completely false. People just make stuff up out of their butts. Like, what are you talking about, man? All right, so we have to end this TGA Q&A very soon, because I have to start with shout-outs, just so you guys know. I'll field a couple quick more questions here. There is zero chance I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 ever again. The game sucked. I'm not wasting any more time with it. I don't care about who wins Creator of the Year. I don't know who any of them are anyway, so why would I give a shit? I haven't seen a comic book movie in ages, so I don't know. I don't really watch them that often. I watched The Batman, and I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was just okay. First Berserker of Kazan, yeah, I saw it. It looked alright. You know, looked alright. Nothing major. Oh, excuse me. Okay. That's it, guys, for today, for the questions. Thanks for all of them. Good TGA segment. If more stuff comes up you guys want to talk about the TGAs, I'm down for that on future podcasts. But, you know, I knew it was going to be pretty much all we talked about today. And, of course, the announcement that I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 on Monday, which we'll see how that goes. I really have no clue what to expect. Oh, boy. I guess we'll see starting Monday, right? Okay, let's get to shout-outs because we have a lot to do. We start off today with Jade, who re-upped his membership. Thank you so much, Jade, for 30 months of Ultra member support. Really appreciate that, Jade. I hope you're doing well today. Game Master with the first super chat. I'm playing Avatar with Ubisoft Plus. I love it. It's different from Far Cry. I beat it. Just beat Far Cry. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. The Villain, re-upping his membership for 30 months at the super supporter level. Thank you to the Villain for that. Spawn Killer with a super chat. I was watching some people actually upset Zelda didn't win Game of the Year. I don't understand how they think it's Game of the Year because, sadly, they live in a bubble. It's that simple. Youssef with the super chat. Gamer's Choice also was Baldur's Gate 3. That's exactly right. Unlike other years where there's a humongous discrepancy between Game of the Year and Viewer's Choice, this year it was in line. You know, you look at a year like Last of Us 2, 1,000,000% sweeps the awards, but everyone votes for Ghost of Tsushima for Game of the Year. This year, at least those two are in line. That's a great thing. Bloomkit with a super chat. He said, it's between Baldur's Gate 3 and Persona 3 Reload. I want Persona 3 way more, just my opinion. Too bad I'm not playing it because it's too much of an Atlas liability regardless. Mr. Game Master did a super chat. Hype for Blade game, but I hope it's not like Redfall, of course. Amon did a super chat. Why do you shout, swear, and insult viewers that disagree with you? I don't. I'm addressing directly people who are ridiculous or unfair or assholes. That's who I address with this nonsense. So, if you actually take it that way, you should maybe look at yourself like, why are you thinking I'm talking to you? Were you acting like that? Were you acting unfairly and unreasonably and were you foaming at the mouth today to come to my stream to say, I can't wait to call out Phil on being wrong because Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year? If you were, you are an asshole. You understand that? Because I didn't say it was going to be Game of the Year the last several months. Excuse me, I didn't say it wasn't going to be Game of the Year the last several months. I said it's either that or Zelda. But if you're foaming at the mouth to prove me wrong, you're an asshole. Sorry, you are. Can't help you there. Nas Waggins, re-upping his membership for 28 months. Says Neil only won so he could stick it to the haters. There you go. I doubt I didn't even mention because I don't really care anymore. I mean, we all knew that The Last of Us TV show was going to win Best Adaptation because, again, The Last of Us is the favorite of journalists. They love kissing the ass and sucking the balls of Neil Druckmann. So he was going to win no matter what, and I didn't even give a shit about it. There you go. Okay. All right. So... Here we go. Lady Charisma, our first tipper of the day with a $2 tip. I hope you enjoy Baldur's Gate 3. It's like virtual D&D campaign. If you play your cards right, something will always be happening, and I normally play for 1 to 2 hours at a time. I have not been bored yet. Thank you, Lady Charisma, for the tip. Listen, I'm going into it with a completely open mind. I really am. I really would prefer not to even be told or spoiled about the game at all. Let me just go in and enjoy it for what it is. And if it's great, great. And if it's not, it's not. But I want to just give it a shot after all this stuff, all this times you guys have been asking me, okay? How do I even say this? I don't even know how to say this name. Messerkmint? With a $15 tip. Oh my god, I'm excited you're going to play Baldur's Gate 3. I cannot wait to see it. Messerkmint? I don't know how to say the name. I don't even know what the Messerk means. But, I'm trying to play an animation. It's lagging. So hold on a second, everybody. Let's see what happens here. There we go. It was very delayed, but it worked. Okay. Look, Messersk. How do you even say that? Messersk? Mint? I have no idea. But that's their name. And they did a $15 tip, so thank you for that. All right. Okay, and I received a $20 tip from 1 Minute Man. You know Baldur's Gate 3 has turn-based combat, funner to play than to watch. If it's made for it is made for a young modern audience. Of course, critics and journos love it. All right. Well, again, we'll see. Where's the animation? Wow, why are the animations so delayed today? I'm going to have to refresh the page. Like, the animation is, like, super delayed. What is going on? Let me see if I refresh it. If it makes it load faster. What is going on today? Even reloading the page is taking forever. So, it must be the site is bad. Well, while I wait for it to reload, let me get the animation up. It sounds to me like the whole thing is screwed up today. Barely working. Let's test. I'm going to do a test right now, guys. Ready? Wow. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13-second delay before my animation pops up today. Yikes. Well, at least they are working. They're just massively delayed. Oh, well. Okay. I guess what they say, better late than never. I received a $2 tip from Swagonito. Baldur's Gate is not your kind of game, to be honest. The gameplay is a steep learning curve, and it may frustrate you. That's exactly what everyone said about Divinity Original Sin 2 as well, just for the record. Please keep that in mind to avoid the vitriol of fans in the game. Good luck, dude. Alright, thank you. And I received a $20 tip from an anonymous tipper. So ready? Ready for this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-second delay for the animation this time. I guess it's getting a little better. The anonymous tipper says, this is an anonymous tip. Well, thank you for telling us. I just wanted to say thank you for being honest. I love you, man. All right. You are very welcome. Thank you to the anonymous tipper for that $20 tip. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay. Very good. All right, good stuff. You're welcome, Derek. All right, we still have some extra time. I'm done talking about the TGAs for now, unless you guys have any more burning questions. We got through some shout-outs, so that's good. We have some extra time if you guys want to toss more questions my way to end the show for today. So the reminder, schedule is RoboCop and Street Fighter today. Very good gameplay day. I'm very excited for that. I hope you'll stick around for RoboCop because it's a really good game. It's going to get better today because we're doing story. Tomorrow is Warzone and Like a Dragon Gaiden. Sunday's React Day, so just my React show and that's it. Monday, we're premiering Baldur's Gate 3. Alright, so that's the big one. If you're waiting for Baldur's Gate all year, be here on Monday. You challenge me to a 1v1 Gears of War Judgment team deathmatch to stream it out? No. Gears of War Judgment's like 10 years old. Why the fuck would I play that? There's an update. Hold on. There's an update to Call of Duty Burn at the TGAs. Call of Duty devs are hurt and angry that a peer has mocked them. They also claim that God of War has short user engagement. Laughing out loud. Whatever. Who cares? Who cares about them? Let him cry. Let's see here. Derek, if you're talking about the tier maker that you're making, that tier maker I'm going to be doing on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, we're going to do a live tier maker ranking of Christmas specials and movies. It'll be something fun to do for Christmas Eve stream. So we'll have my marathon on the 23rd. That's going to be live schedule update, 3 games that you guys vote for, food, drinks, being merry, and possibly like trying like a treat that's like a holiday themed treat, something like that. And then that Sunday, Christmas Eve, we'll just do a stream where we kind of talk about holiday stuff. We'll do the tier maker. We'll chill and relax. I'm not streaming on Christmas Day. So there you go. What's my favorite classic black and white Christmas movie? Probably It's a Wonderful Life, although Miracle on 34th Street is amazing too. What's up, Jade? Good morning. How are you, sir? You're surprised I didn't show Wolverine? Well, it's not exactly, it's not Summer Game Fest. It was the Game Awards, so. Oh, I got you, Derek. Well, I'm not too worried about it right now. We'll do it at some point, but not now. We're too busy. Too busy right now. I knew it was going to be a topic today. We'll figure it out. Will I play the no return mode for Last of Us 2 next month? No. I'm not buying the new version, so how would I have access to their roguelike mode? I don't care. I'll see you later today, Kagome. Sounds good. See you later, Derek. He's taking off to eat lunch. You're a little sleepy, Jade? I'm sorry to hear that. Get some rest. Relax. Rest up. Energize yourself. Well, I play Monster Hunter. I already answered that. If there's a demo for this new Monster Hunter and I give it a shot and people like it, I'll play it. But I tried the demo of Monster Hunter World, and within 90 minutes of playing it, everyone hated it and said never play this game again, so I never did. I listen to feedback from my viewers. Okay. Anything else? Energy drinks are horrible for you. You should not drink them unless you absolutely need them. It's not the caffeine, it's everything else. Everything else in energy drinks is just fucking terrible. They toss all this crap in there. Taurine? Taurine. Do you really think you need taurine in your body? Really? If you need an energy boost, have a cup of coffee. 1 cup. 1 cup of coffee has a lot of caffeine in it. It's going to give you what you need, and you're not loading your body with fillers and sugars and shit. Just drink 1 cup of black coffee. Zoop! You're done. That's what I do. What's all this? Whatever happened to good old 1 cup of black coffee? No, instead, I have my coffee, but I have to have 17 sugars, fucking creamer, dairy, whipped cream, sprinkles, cinnamon sugar, fucking swizzle sticks coming out of it, right? It's like, so here we go, here's your coffee. Well, your coffee would have been 200 calories, but now you're drinking a 2,700 calorie drink. Well, that's why it's bad for you. If you just drink the black cup of coffee, just zoop, you get the caffeine you need, you're good to go. You didn't destroy your body with toxic shit. You're not going to crash from that. You're good, right? Have I considered playing Last Faith? It's a 2D Souls-like Metroidvania. No. Down a cup of coffee in 1 go? I could. I have to wait for it to cool, though. I'm not going to be chugging scalding coffee down my throat. What you do is you take a steaming hot cup of black coffee, and you just... and then you feel good for the rest of the day. No. You wait, you know. That's not a good idea. Sheila, what's going on? Popped the 30-month membership and says, almost time for RoboCop to enforce Murphy's Law. There you go. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Alex Murphy says, listen to the law, or I'll shove this gun right up your... green tea with honey. Green tea is good, but sadly green tea does not have as much caffeine as the coffee does. You have to drink a little more of it. But green tea is also not that bad for you at all. Oh, excuse me. The PC term is coffee with no added ingredients, not black coffee. Well, let me tell you, I drink black coffee. I drink coffee black as night. I drink coffee that's blacker than the center of a black hole. How about that? Because let me tell you, I'm really afraid about being canceled. Oh, God forbid if I was canceled on the internet. I mean, I'd lose everything. All my sponsorships, my partnership. Oh. Oops. Oh, my God. People are ridiculous, man. Do you see how silly this is, too? Like, some people would actually say that, too. Oh, I can't say black coffee. I have to say coffee with no additives. Right? They actually have to say that because they're so afraid. What the fuck's your problem? In this life, if really you have to tiptoe around the tulips and step on the eggshells and be so afraid of every little action that you have, you know, you fucked your life up, basically. You've really fucked your life up if you're that dependent. Like, if you're a content creator and you actually have sponsors that will drop you if you say black coffee, you probably should not have sponsors. Like, forget it. Right? Fuck that. Ridiculous. Anyway, anything else, guys? I think you guys understand the difference why I love being independent, right? You get it, right? Like everyone says, oh, you should get sponsors and partners. And no, do you understand that's when this happens? That when you see content creators and they have to mute their mic when they say a word, or have to they edit out what they've said. That's what they're doing that for, because they're so deathly afraid. There's people right now that they can't say, they're so afraid of saying the word sex. They can't say it. They call it like steamy content or something like that. Seriously, they can't say that word because, oh, I will lose a sponsor. I'll get demonetized. Oh, boo-hoo. Coward. Be a human. Say the word. Good Lord. I mean, bottom line, if you're so dependent on monetization and sponsorships that you can't even say certain words, you're probably, you know, you've taken the wrong path in life. Sorry. All right, anyway, anything else, guys? Last chance for questions before we adjourn and jump into RoboCop. I'm looking good today in this shirt. Well, thank you. This is a... Gee, what color is this? Is it an offensive color? Can I say this color? It's a brown. It's brown, but it's kind of beige at the same time, like beigeish brown. Tan. Can you say the word tan? Actually, that's kind of offensive. Can you say that? I don't know. Oh, no, you want a day off segment? All right, I'll give you a day. I forgot about it because of the Game Awards. I totally forgot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Phil's Day Off segment. Yesterday was my day off. Yesterday I had 5 zillion things to do, but I already told you about most of them. Grocery shopping, pet supply shopping, and restocking. Because remember I was so sick at the end of October, okay? That threw everything into disarray. And when that threw everything into disarray, we have been out of all kinds of products for weeks. So finally we had a week where we had time to go out and do everything. We had to go to Costco. Oh, Costco right now is crazy. There's a zillion people there. We had to park like at the fucking way at the opposite end of the lot because there's so many people at Costco right now because of the holidays. But basically we restocked on everything that we needed, but it was very expensive. You know, what are you going to do? We need literally everything in the house. Cleaning products, paper products, you know, all the things that are commodities that you save a lot of money if you buy them in bulk. So we bought all of that stuff. It was a crazy day out. Like we went out way early, and then we weren't home until past, like, I would say almost like 8 p.m. So we were out over 8 hours with all the shit that we had to do all day. A crazy amount of stuff. We did try a new restaurant. There's a new Vietnamese restaurant around here that apparently make their own noodles in-house. And so we tried it, and we each got a big bowl of pho, and my wife got steak and meatball, and I got beef short rib. Okay, now you know me, I can't eat that much red meat, but I thought, what the hell, I'll just try it. They bring me this pho with insanely huge chunk of meat with 2 bones out of it, you know, giant rib bones sticking out of it, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, how am I gonna eat this thing? It was insane. They gave me chopsticks to eat it with and a knife, and I'm like, So at first, here's the thing. I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat around it, right? And maybe when I reduce the amount of broth and noodles in the bowl, it'll be exposed. It'll be easier to cut up or whatever. And I thought I bit off more than I could chew because I'm like, this is going to be a pain to try to cut up and eat. But what happened was I ate a lot of the broth. And now when I went to eat the meat, I realized something. That was perfectly, superbly stewed rib meat. It came right off the bone. It was just like falling off. I was like, oh, so you don't need like a fork or anything because just with the chopsticks, the knife, it just comes right off. So, dude, it was so good. But I didn't have that much of the meat. I had maybe like 5 to 10 bites because I can't eat that much red meat. And it was funny because I loved every bite of it. It was super delicious. And then when the waiter came back, he's like, oh, is there a problem with the meat? I said, no, it's the opposite. The meat is so good, I have to stop myself from eating it for health purposes. I'm not supposed to have a lot of red meat. This was like a treat for me. So it's absolutely delicious, but I'm sorry I can't eat more. I know it's kind of a waste, but what can you do? I'm not supposed to eat that much. I had no idea that much meat was coming in my soup. But it was super good. And what we want to do is we want to go back and try. They have everything. They have like chicken, shrimp, all these different cuts of pork and beef that you can have in the pho. And we want to try all that because we haven't had pho in ages, and it was super duper good. Oh my God, you drink the broth. The first thing you start tasting is this zesty kick of herb flavors in the broth because it's so imbued with this flavor. Like, oh my God, dude, this is like super duper good. So, yeah, I'm not kidding. Just talking about it now, I'm appetized and I want to go back. It was so good. So we had a really good meal. First time ever at this restaurant, which is really nice. And it's always good to find a place that you like so much you want to go back. And we loved it and we want to go back. So, there you go. Okay. Oh, outside of that, like I said, you know what I did on the day off. Basically, we spent the whole day out doing all this stuff, this busy stuff we had to do. I got a haircut. If you didn't notice, I got a haircut. See? Haircut. And outside of other things, there's other appointments and things that I did too during my day out. That's why we were out all day. Like it was a day where it was the first day out since before we were sick. So it was crazy the amount of stuff we had to do in one day, confined. And then when we got home, then we watched the Game Awards. So, you know, and then we went to sleep because then it was already like past midnight because the fucking Game Awards were so long. So there you go. That's Phil's day off. Very exciting. I'm glad you asked, right? Okay. All right. Is it time to adjourn? Are we making anything special to eat on Christmas? Well, my parents gifted us some food. They had actually gifted us these turkey breasts stuffed with stuffing and wrapped in bacon. And we were going to originally do that for Thanksgiving, but we actually decided on the turkey breast roast we did, which we're happy we did because that was amazing. So we're going to have those turkey breasts on Christmas, but we just have to decide what we want with it. We don't know yet. We haven't really thought about it, you know. Probably some interesting sides. We just don't know what yet. We have to figure out what we want to make along with it. Still got a couple weeks to figure that out. All right. Okay. I received a $10 tip. I was not expecting that. Let's see. For the complete experience, try eating baby food when you're playing RoboCop. Next level immersion. Keep up the great work from Mark. What does that mean? Try eating baby food when playing RoboCop? What? What does that mean? I actually don't understand that one. Thanks for the tip. I appreciate it, but okay. Are you saying that RoboCop is too easy or something? Is that what you're saying? Like it's a baby's game? Because RoboCop eats baby food? Oh, I didn't remember that. Apparently people are saying that's actually the lore of the movie, that RoboCop has to eat baby food. That's funny. She eats some strained peas. Dun 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 dun. Wow. There you go. RoboCop eats baby food. Wow. What is going on? You've never seen RoboCop? Oh man, you missed the. You got to watch all the classics from the '80s. You got to watch RoboCop. You got to watch Predator. You got to watch the Alien films. You got to watch the good ones from the '80s. That's like a time period. That's like a time capsule. You know what I mean? Like all those great movies from that era. Okay. All right. Let's end the show. Thank you all. Great show. I knew today's show would be jam-packed with interest and action. Everyone talking. Game Awards are done. And now, as a direct result of the Game Awards and your requests, yes, Baldur's Gate 3 starts Monday. So, thank you all for a great show. I hope you enjoy. And tomorrow, I guess we'll be talking about what happened today with RoboCop as well as with Street Fighter 6, which will be exciting to talk about all of that. I hope that you all enjoyed the show. And I hope to see you Monday. Like I said, get those calendars marked. Since this has been the hypest thing you guys have hyped up for in many years, Baldur's Gate 3 starting on Monday could be very interesting. We'll have to see how that goes, okay? All right, guys, thank you all very much. See you tomorrow.